All right, we are live. Yay, I'm so excited. All right, hold on, let me turn this down a little bit. Okay. Try it a different way. I have kitties and doggies with me, and they're all just taking up room. Hold on just a second while I get things situated. Okay, I think I got it now. So today is the first broadcast of Business Coaching Co-op. And what I imagine it to be is a place where people can meet daily to get some information and guidance and support and training to build their own business up. And it doesn't matter what kind of business it is. Now, I specifically work in building mobile applications, and I have a service where you can use my platform to grab templates and build an application from scratch without having to know any programming or coding. But I'm not going to be promoting that. I'll be promoting it some, but the biggest thing is working with people to help build their different businesses and supporting them, while I'm able to catch those people that would like to do an application business and build it from the ground up with my help. I have a coaching program called the App Foundation that will be going live in about a month on February the 1st, which I'm really excited about and can't wait to get that up and going. And that's really my biggest area that I work in. I also write Kindle books and publish Kindle books, and I help other people publish their books. I have Udemy courses that I work on, and I use JVZoo to sell digital products, and I also sell products on eBay and Amazon. So I have a lot of projects that I work on, but the application business is the biggest. That's actually where my heart is building those applications. And then the other half of my heart is in teaching, so I'm trying to mix the two and put teaching together with building apps and see how that goes, helping other people build their own application business. And with this coaching program, helping others build any kind of business, just helping them get started and up and off the ground. I can start with the absolute basics, like where do you get a domain? How do you point a domain to a hosting service? How do you get hosting service? How do you use the hosting service? How do you make a basic, simple web page? What is a sales funnel? How to build a sales funnel? Those are basic things that people just starting in the business need to know. And there's a little bit of a learning curve, especially if you're not real tech savvy. So those are some areas that I'm really excited about helping you with. But also, there is a lot of other areas that I can go as far as technical skills and setting up your business to be able to be streamlined. For example, I have a blog that I run, and that blog, actually I have a couple blogs, but the blogs actually post automatically to Facebook. I don't have to move the post over or manually post. As soon as I publish the post, it actually goes to Facebook. So there's some pretty neat technical skills that I can show you how to do to streamline your business and make it better, including email lists and streamlining that process to make sure you're capturing emails, because of course the money's in the list. But I've got a lot of things that I'm ready to share and show you, and it's gonna be a fun ride, I think, doing these every day and just getting to interact with people and get to know people and get excited about watching them get started in their business and grow in their business. Now, today is Motivation Monday, and every Monday we'll have a short session on something that's motivational saying, or we will work on motivating each other. And then for the rest of the week, Tuesday will be Template Tuesday. And I will pull in some type of template that you can use in your business. And specifically, I'll be talking sometimes about the application business and how you can pull a template in to create an app. But it's not limited to that. I've got tons of templates that are in Word and in PowerPoint and Excel. And I've just got tons of things that I can share with you that are not just application related that will help you streamline your business and make things go faster. So Template Tuesday. Wednesdays are Business Building Wednesdays, and those are the things that are going to help you build your business fast. For example, learning how to understand SEO or search engine optimization, learning how to set up your email list and get an autoresponder set up, and using an email list service like GetResponse or Aweber or MailChimp. There's tons and tons of things we can do on Wednesdays to help you build your business and make it very, very strong. Thursdays will be Tech Tip Thursday, and that's kind of hard to say several times in a row, but Tech Tip Thursday is going to show you some technical information on how to make things work for you that maybe you didn't know about before. One of my areas of expertise, of course, is helpful applications that speed up processes, but it won't be only application based. It'll be just little tricks even in Google, or setting up your email to receive it through your phone, or just things like that that'll help you. You guys actually can tell me what you think that you need as far as help for technical tips. And then Friday is a free-for-all. Friday is when we will meet together as a group and we will just discuss anything and everything that you need to discuss for your business. And I will open it up for questions and answers, and I'll bring people on board that would just like to talk. And because we entrepreneurs, we spend so much time in front of the computer and working on things and getting things ready, that sometimes we don't get out in the world and actually get to talk to people, especially when you're first building your business, because you spend so much time learning the ropes and figuring things out. And I know last night alone, I spent probably 3 to 4 hours figuring out a problem I was trying to resolve. And it got really frustrating, but I stuck with it and figured it out and got it done. You'll see my doggy right there. That's Scrappy. He's my buddy. He attends every meeting, and he loves to sit as close to me as he can get. And I won't let him sit on my lap while I'm recording because he tries to get up in my face. So he's just resigned to the fact that he can sit on the couch and just kind of sit as close as he can to me. He'll be our he'll be our little mascot as we're doing the meetings. But let me get on with the Motivation Monday. I won't take up a whole lot of your time, but I did want to give you something that would hopefully motivate you and get you excited about your business and get you ready to tackle the week. And let me see if I can share my screen, and I will show you some of the sayings that I wanted to cover today. So here are the sayings that I wanted to share with you. The first one is, a fraction of your life is what naturally happens, and the rest is how you react to it. Now, I feel strongly about this saying because of the fact that you actually have more say in what happens to you than the things that happen to you. And what I mean by that is you have the bulk of the control. Now, reality is that things happen, crap happens, we all know that, and it can set you back and frustrate you. But the reality is how you react to that crap and how you spin it to make it something good instead of something bad, it's all up to you. And I'll give you just a little example and tell you a little story about myself. I was born with a genetic disorder. It's called Nail-Patella syndrome. It's very, very rare. I've only met 1 or 2 people that actually have it and heard of others, but not many others. And Nail-Patella syndrome affects your fingernails. It looks like I bite my nails, but I don't. It affects your patella, which is your kneecap. In either of my legs, I did not have a kneecap. And my right leg when I was born didn't bend. And so as a youngster, I had a bunch of surgeries to try to correct some of the problems that were wrong with that leg. They did a couple leg lengthenings because it was shorter than the left leg, and they did a few things that that tried to help me as a teenager to be able to walk better and just to be able to do better as an adult. And once I turned into an adult, I didn't go to see any other doctors. It just whatever it was, that's what it was. And when I turned about 18 years old, all the surgery stopped, but my knee still didn't bend, and also my right foot was fused. It didn't go up and down or side to side. And walking was always difficult, semi-painful, but I just rock and rolled with it as an adult because you do what you got to do. And of course, in the business of getting married and having children, I just kind of rocked along with it. You know, got jobs, traveled, did a whole lot of neat things as an adult. But as I got older, it started to catch up with me, and it truly did cause problems when I hit about my maybe 40 is when it really started hitting hard. And that's when I realized that it was going to be a problem. And we always joked at our house that why don't you just talk to the doctor about amputation? But at 40 years old, I wasn't quite ready. The leg was just workable enough that I didn't need to think about that too much. But then I hit 45 and it was worse. And then just a couple years ago, I'm 49 right now, so about 47 years old, the foot just started to break when I walked. The bones were thinning so bad. And the knee joint, there was just no cushioning in between the knee joints. So as I walked, the bones were rubbing together and just absolutely scraping together. And x-rays were showing that it was the bones in the knee joint were not even round anymore. They were kind of squared off because they were rubbing so bad. And the pain was incredible. I was starting to have to get nerve shots, nerve blocks to be able to block the pain that was going down into my toes. It always felt like somebody had a hold of my last 3 toes and were pulling them backwards, and just staying in that backwards position. So there was always just that shooting, horrible pain, even if I wasn't walking. I was going down in a wheelchair. I was using either a wheelchair or a walker full time, and I just refused to accept that was the way my life was going, was I was going to be in a wheelchair. Now, you got to understand that I'm a little bit adventurous, and I loved doing things like I've been skydiving before. My husband and I traveled to Hawaii, went swimming with sharks. I've been ziplining, which I love, and I just love to do things, love to pick a day and go do things. And that's kind of hard when you're limited in a wheelchair or in a walker all the time. It doesn't make things as easy to get to do. So I just kind of put it in my head that this was not the way it was going to be. And so I determined that it was probably time to seriously talk about an amputation. So I talked to my knee doctor about it, and talked to my foot doctor about it, because we were dealing with broken foot and problems with my knee. And he laughed. He said, "Oh my gosh, you want to get an amputation for a broken foot?" So I asked him to look at the big picture, but he just couldn't see it. So I fired him and went to another doctor. And it literally took about 6 or 8 doctors before I found one that would let me even put amputation on the table to talk about. And when we did talk about it, he gave me a lot of negatives about amputation versus keeping the leg. And I agreed with him that there were some negatives, but the biggest negative that I was dealing with keeping the leg was the intense pain and going down in a wheelchair permanently. And I thought that if I had an amputation, I could at least get up and move around and do things again. I may not be as active and as mobile, but without the amputation, I was non-mobile. And I convinced him, and he finally decided, yeah, I think maybe an amputation might be the best thing for you. So I decided to go ahead and talk to some other doctors, because I didn't just want one doctor to say yes and then just go cut off my leg. So I found 2 other doctors in the process that really talked to me about the issue of amputation and what it would mean. But they both did agree that that was probably the best option for me to keep me active and up and moving. And then I went to a prosthetic place, a couple of them actually, and found some amputees that were dealing with their prosthetics, and asked them if they would just talk to me about what it's like to be an amputee and the different issues that you run into. What are the pros? What are the cons? And got a good idea of what it was like, although it was not as good as actually having the amputation for sure. But I did get some good insight from those people, and they donated their time so willingly, and it was wonderful. So I finally decided that this was what I was going to do. I was not queasy about it or scared about it. It was just something that I had to do to be able to get up and mobile. So I went back to my doctor and I said, when can we schedule it? And he went ahead and scheduled it, and we had it done on June the 9th of 2014. So I am officially a right above the knee amputee. So I do wear a prosthetic. I'm wearing it right now, and I called it Murphy. So Murphy and I are best buds. We go everywhere together, do everything together, and I'm still in the process of learning how to use him. I've only had him about 10 months. I started using him about March the 1st of 2014, so it hasn't been a year yet. But I'm already out there walking. I'll walk a mile pretty easily. I did 3 miles a few times, but I was really, really tired after I was done, because that's a lot of walking with the prosthetic leg. I am jogging a bit, which I didn't even jog before the amputation, so that is already ahead of what I used to do. I'm still dealing with some socket issues, and that's because the stump shrinks and swells. But the reality is that I took this situation, this natural situation of having a leg that was failing and having to go down in a wheelchair, and I decided that I was going to try to do something about it, and I got an amputation. Now, most people would say, oh my gosh, an amputation, that's the end of the world. But for me, it's actually the beginning. I almost call it like an ampuversary, because it's almost like a birthday, because I have a new life now. It's different than it was before. There are things that are very, very different. Like when I wake up in the morning, I remember my daughter, she was working and I had to go pick her up. And she calls me early in the morning. Gosh, I think it was like 7 o'clock, 5 o'clock. I don't remember what it was, but it was early enough that I wasn't ready to get up and move around. But she said she's ready to get picked up. So I got ready and got up to where she was working, and she opened the door, and she was like, oh my gosh, Mom, what took you so long? I said, I had to put my leg on. And not very many people can say that, but that slows me down a little bit. When I'm getting ready in the morning, there's a whole big process you have to go through to get the liner ready and put on layers and put the leg on and put the battery in, because it's a battery operated leg, which is kind of funny. But there's just a lot of stuff, and then sometimes it's not quite on right, so I have to slide it off and kind of position a little bit and slide it back on. And if I'm wearing boots, that's a whole nother story. It is so funny to watch me try to put boots on. But the reality is that my new normal is just a different normal than what it was before. But no matter how you slice it, no matter how you look at it, whatever angle you look at it in, it's way better than what it was before. I'm walking, I'm jogging, lightly jogging, I'll tell you, but I'm jogging. And the potential for me to do way more than what I was able to do before is incredible. It's nice to be able to just go to Walmart and go shopping and not have to be in a wheelchair. And it's nice to not have to be on crutches and worry about hitting a water spot and slip. It's just incredible. The difference is incredible. So I think the idea of this motivational saying is just to say, take what you've been given, take your lemons that life gives you, and make you some lemonade. And hopefully I've done that. Let's go ahead and look at the second saying. And the second saying is, in every single day, it's either you who runs the game, or the game runs you. And I think that kind of applies to the same thing that was happening with me. I kind of said, well, I could just be in this wheelchair my whole life and be limited to what I can do and what I can't do. Or I can take control of the situation and say, okay, what do I want out of life? What do I want to do? And here's my goals. My goals are to grow my business and continue to help people grow their businesses. And I want to definitely stay in the tech area as far as work and business is involved, because I love technology and I love learning new things, and I'm constantly trying to learn new things. And I want to stay in the teaching environment because I love teaching. So, I want to continue my Udemy courses and continue to teach online to people that are running their own business. And all of those things are wonderful, but there's things beyond that that I want to do as well. I love skydiving. I've actually been skydiving in San Diego, and it was such a neat experience that I'll never forget the landing and my thinking when I landed of, oh my gosh, I can do anything now. I've just jumped out of a plane. And I want to do that again. And I would love to go as an amputee so I can say, look, I did it with 2 legs and I did it with 1 leg. I'd love to go swimming with the sharks again. My husband and I swam with sharks in Hawaii, and they weren't the great white sharks. They were just sharks. They were big sharks. They were 15 to 20-foot sharks. They were really big, but they weren't as scary as if a great white was coming up to us. So we actually have plans to travel outside of the United States to be able to go swimming with great white sharks now that we've experienced just swimming with sharks. That's a goal that I have. If I'm in a wheelchair and limited, that would be really hard to do. But with Murphy, I'm up on my feet, and that's a real possibility that we could do that, hopefully in the very near future. I have goals of going on a cruise, of all the things that I've done. I've traveled this whole United States and done some incredible things, but I've never been on a cruise. So that's a goal. And if I'm in a wheelchair or on crutches, that is harder than if I'm up and walking. So I refuse to let this game drive me or direct me in what I get to do. I get to control what I want to do. And the caveat to that is I have to have the strength to do what I need to do to be able to get to do the things that I want to do. So if I want to go swimming with sharks in South Africa is where we want to go, to do that, it's going to cost a lot of money. We've priced it out, and that is a very expensive trip. Well, I can't just sit at home on my tushy and just hope that somebody is so nice that they pay for me to go to Africa to swim with the sharks. I have to actually actively work on those things to be able to get that done. To be able to go skydiving out in California again over that beautiful blue water, like the first time that I went. I so want to do that again. And but nobody's going to come to my house. I mean, there's not going to be a person that walks to my door and knocks on the door and says, today's your magical day. You're going to get to go skydiving in San Diego again. No, it's going to cost money. And to get money, I have to actively be working on something to be able to do that. So you have to drive your own bus. Don't let the bus drive you. And I think that that's what that saying is telling you, is figure out what you want to do, and then you run the game. All right, the last saying: circumstances that you have to endure in life can be redirected as favorable events if you have the ability to adapt. This to me is the epitome of what has occurred to me in this amputation process, is that I've been fortunate enough, for sure, to have very supportive family members. In fact, I'll tell you another funny story about what happened to me with the amputation. Is we'd been talking about the amputation for a while, because I was running into trying to find these doctors and get scheduled and get it all ready, and just even find a doctor that would say yes. That was a challenge. Well, we finally got a doctor that said yes, and we got a date. And I walked in the house and walked by my son's room and knocked on the door and kind of peeked in, and I said, we've got a date. We've got a date. And my son was playing a video game with his little headset on, and a bunch of his friends on the internet, and he was playing with his brother that lives in Alabama, or at the time he lived in northern Mississippi. But anyway, so he sees it online with him, and he says, hey, mom just got the news. She's getting her leg cut off. And of course, my son that was living in northern Mississippi said, oh, all right, that's awesome. It's about time. And of course, all their other friends that were playing with him were like, what? what are you talking about? And of course, they had to explain that it was a good thing that this was being done, and it was about time. And we had already talked about it as a family for quite a number of years as just something that we put on the table, and now it was actually something that we were going to do. And we were all excited about it because we knew that I was going down here really fast. And then when I talked to my dad about it, it was so funny because I called him up and I said, Dad, I've got a date. I'm getting it done. And he said, I am so happy for you. I'm so excited. And I know this is the right decision because of the situation that you're in. So number one, having a supportive framework, a family is incredible. My husband, I remember when we did get it scheduled, I was worried about my husband and what his thoughts were. And because it's going to look really different, and there's going to be a lot that I'd have to go through, and I'd have to really rely on him health-wise. And I said, are you sure you're okay with this? And my husband said, as long as it helps you to be out of pain, whatever it takes. And if it's an amputation, then that's what we'll do. And I just was stunned at the support of my husband, my children, my dad, and my entire extended family, all my relatives and stuff that live outside of the state that I live in, that I don't get to see very often. But even them on Facebook and everything were really supportive. So that's key number one. And then key number two is, once you are hit with a situation like this and you accept the fact that that's just the way it's going to be, then you figure out how to best handle it. Again, taking those lemons that life is giving you and creating that lemonade. And I think I've done the very best that I could do. Now, before the amputation, I had no online businesses that were going at all. I'd been practicing making mobile applications and trying to learn how to make them, but I hadn't really started the business. I'd just been teaching myself. But once I had the amputation, I realized that I was going to be down for a while. I did actually try to return to work about 7 weeks after the amputation. I went back to my teaching job, and it only took 4 weeks to realize that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And I ended up getting a really bad infection, and had trouble with accommodations at the school, and the pressure of being a teacher, and having just had an amputation, and then going along with all the pressures of being a state tested class. It was quite a lot to deal with, and didn't have a lot of administrative support. So I ended up getting a very bad MRSA infection and went home. And I realized at that point that I probably was not going to be able to go back into the classroom for a while, if at all. So I redirected, I adapted, and I said, you know what, this brain has to have constant input or else it'll go brain dead. So I decided to start a business, and since I'd been working with mobile applications, I figured that that was a great place to start. So I built the iCardinalApps.com platform, where you can go and sign up and set up an account, and you can start making your own applications without the need for programming or coding or anything like that. It's almost like a drag and drop interface. And you can create your applications, you can publish your applications, and there's over 100 templates that you can use. So for example, if you went to a hair salon company and said, hey, I'd love to build you an app, you come back to iCardinal Apps in your account, there's, I think, 5 different hair salon templates. So you can pull one of those in, change the information, change the name of the place, the phone number, the address, that kind of stuff. Real simple to do. And then you publish, and Shazam, you've got an application that you can sell to that hair salon. And typically for a simple application where you're just changing information on the template, I'll charge $200 to create it and $50 a month to host it. And you can create those bad boys all day long, a couple of them a day, or more a day. I published 150 apps in a month. So definitely doable and very easy, and it's actually really fun. When you get good at it, you can start changing the templates up to make them very, very unique. So a great business to start with, and I was really excited about it. Got customers for my business right off the bat, and was just super excited about it. And I continue to build that business today. And also, during the time that I was recovering from the infection, I wrote 4 books and put them up on Amazon, and that was an exciting experience. And I also created some Udemy courses, and Udemy is a great platform if you like to teach. You can create your own courses and put them up there and sell them. So I'd been working with a company called JVZoo and figured out how to use it as a seller instead of an affiliate. So I have my own products that I put up on JVZoo and sell, and just have affiliates actually sell them for me. So I thought this would be a great course to put up on Udemy. So I just created the course and put it up there and let it rip. And that was the start of a wonderful thing. So all this was done after the amputation. So I figured out how to adapt from the situation of possibly not being able to go back in the classroom, but still being able to feed my mind and keep my mind busy and have a lot of fun working with technology and building a business, because I'm a serial entrepreneur, like I'm sure most of you guys are. And now that I'm established and really excited about what I've done, I want to turn it around and share it with other people. So I think I've adapted pretty well, and I can't wait for some of the things that are going to be coming in the future as we continue to work on this particular webinar, and as it grows with people coming in and watching it and getting involved. So that's really all I had for Motivational Monday, those 3 sayings. Let me pull them up again so you can just take a look real quick. I'll go back over them. The first one was, a fraction of your life is what naturally happens, and the rest is how you react to it. And every single day, it's either you who runs the game or the game runs you. And circumstances that you have to endure in life can be redirected as favorable events if you have the ability to adapt. So I hope for all of you that you are all able to adapt and grow, and no matter what life throws at you, take those lemonades that get thrown at your head and make some lemonade out of them and enjoy life and figure out how to get the most out of the things that you were dealt. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the webinar. Tomorrow is Template Tuesday, and we'll be pulling in a template and working with it to see how we can streamline your business a little bit and get things moving. Remember, Wednesday is Business Building Wednesday, Thursday is Tech Tip, and Friday is Free for All. I can't wait to see you guys on the next one, and have a wonderful day. Happy New Year to you, and I'll see you on the next webinar.